You're not going to beat Canelo until somehow over a long period of time, Canelo beats himself.
Okay. When you find someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo.
Canelo clapped back at Terence Crawford at the press event, saying Crawford isn't on his level. He criticized boxers who aim to survive 12 rounds instead of putting on a real show. Canelo said that kind of style makes fights dull and disappoints fans who want action. Kell Brook, who has faced top guys like Gennady Golovkin and Terence Crawford, gave a serious warning about the Crawford versus Canelo fight. Brook said this match will be a totally new test for Crawford. He added that Canelo fights in a way that's not like any of Crawford's past opponents. Unlike Crawford, who is smaller and relies on his speed and skill, Canelo mixes power, fight smarts, and strategy.
It's a wow. It's a wow fight. It's two supreme athletes fighting against each other. But you've got to sway towards Canelo. Crawford's gonna have to move up, and I knew when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference. Especially with someone that fighting a middleweight. A mediocre world champion's okay, but when you're fighting someone like Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish. I have to lean towards Canelo, but Crawford's very, very, very good.
Do you think Crawford's still got the legs? Obviously, he's very much got great IQ in the ring.
Brook said that Canelo's skill to adjust during a fight and use his strength makes him hard to beat. To face someone like Canelo, a fighter must think differently and train smarter. Brook believes the matchup works in Canelo's favor and warned that Crawford hasn't faced someone like him. With Canelo's shifting style and pressure, it's a whole new level of danger. Crawford must prepare for a more intense and tough test, where one wrong move could turn the fight fast.
He's still got the legs to be maybe outmoving Canelo if he needs to.
Well, I don't know. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet and he's cute with how he approaches chucking shots and moving. I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fighter from when he boxed Mayweather. But like I say, it's one of them what we've got to tune into and watch. Both unbelievable fighters, but I'd have to favour Canelo. Just his size and his experience, and just his ring generalship. He's got confidence, he's big.
Veteran analyst Jim Lampley showed strong belief in Canelo Alvarez's chances of beating Terence Crawford. Lampley said even though Crawford has great skill and an amazing record, Canelo's mix of experience, power, and mental strength gives him a clear edge in this matchup. He added that Canelo's track record of beating top fighters in many weight classes works in his favor. His ability to manage pace and space helps him lead the fight, which Lampley sees as key. Also, Canelo's defense and timing could cancel out Crawford's attack. In Lampley's view, Canelo's all-around skills might be too much for Crawford to handle, even with all the talent Crawford brings to the ring.
He's a great defender. He has the most solid punch resistance of anybody in the sport. Nobody's ever knocked him off balance. Nobody's ever really knocked him down. There's only one official knockdown in his career, and it was because he bounced off the ropes when Jose Cotto hit him with a hard shot to the chest. And the referee employed a strict interpretation of the rules and said, oh, the ropes held you up, so that's a knockdown. He's never been put on his back by anybody. He rides horseback every morning. His legs are the strongest in the sport. You're not going to beat Canelo until somehow over a long period of time, Canelo beats himself. If he gets tired of all the discipline he has had to employ to make all the money he's made, if he has enough giant ranches in the Yucatan, if he has enough beautiful horses, if he has had enough unforgettable dinners with Mexican billionaires in Mexico City and Vegas, then maybe. But my guess is he will retire without incurring another loss because it's important to him to do that.
Which implies you like him against Bud Crawford.
I do like him against Bud Crawford, but I do think that it's a great fight. Now, I could change my mind when we get closer. Bud Crawford, to me, is a latter-day Sugar Ray Robinson. He has the multiple skills of Sugar Ray Robinson. He can defend or attack. He has a deep inner mean streak that he can employ at any moment in a fight to get what he wants. Before the fight against, help me out here,
Madrimov was his last fight. Spence?
Spence.
Yes.
Before the fight against Errol Spence, there were quite a lot of people in the sport, in boxing media, who were saying, I like Spence to win the fight. I was one of those people who said, no way. Errol Spence doesn't have the depth.
Terence Crawford's boxing record clearly shows how skilled and accomplished he is. His power, movement, and smart fight plans have earned him a spot among the sport's best. But there's a gap in how fans see him. While insiders respect Crawford's sharp technique and clever style, casual fans prefer fighters who bring more flash and wild action. Crawford often fights with control and clean counters, mixing defense and pressure. Even though it works, his style gets called boring because it doesn't have wild exchanges. This leads many to miss how good Crawford really is, since he wins. With skill and thinking, not wild brawls that grab quick attention.
Crawford, on the other hand, he has been walking down his fighters, and people don't see that but me. For some reason, when I had that tape, people were screaming cat. And it's like David Evanesian, Errol Spence, Sean Porter, Gamboa, a Mean Machine. Even against Madrimov, the way he won the fight was by fighting. It wasn't Floyd Mayweather sticking. This guy has been too athletically gifted, and I mean explosive, hard punching, and too strong for his ops. When he's in orthodox, he box more. When he switch, he becomes a puncher. And now he's coming out southpaw. He ends you. He is not, you gotta watch him fight. He does do athletic things where his hands and his feet work together and he catches you for sure. But what he mostly do is he punishes and he bullies his op because he walks you down and whips your ass. He's an ass whip.
Boxing coach Bomac shared a different take, praising Canelo's talent but saying Crawford's sharp boxing gives him the upper hand. Bomac said Canelo is elite, but Crawford's quick hands, timing, and control are better. He pointed to how focused Crawford always is before fights, which helps him control things and outsmart rivals. Bomac said if Crawford sticks to his strategy and uses his footwork, that could win it. Even though Canelo has power and experience, Crawford's smart. Approach and skills might be what gets him the win. This could be more of a thinking man's fight than one about pure power and will.
Fight with Canelo Alvarez. It was interesting to see the comments from Canelo and how he sort of assessed Bud Crawford's career. I almost feel after the Spence fight that was like an exclamation point on everything he's done, maybe from the critics who never gave him credit, but it almost seems like Canelo was downplaying his achievements. What do you make of that? Is that to build a fight? Because it sells itself.
Well, I'm gonna tell you like this. I think Crawford rebuttal was everybody always say, oh, he hasn't fought nobody, or no, everybody that he fought was a no name. But I'm gonna tell you like this, what Crawford said. Well, they was something until Crawford fought him. So obviously he's doing a great job because he's making everybody look normal.
Not everyone, like when they go against Canelo, I don't think there's anyone else in boxing who you would ask and say this is a possible task for, but for Crawford, because of his pound for pound abilities, and apparently no rehydration clause. Am I hearing that right? He wants full smoke at that weight.
Let's go, man. That's what Crawford wants. He wants to show the world that he's the best. So, hey, why put stipulations in there when you know that you can be the best? So let's go test ourselves.
Look, I appreciate you taking this time, and we don't get to speak all the time, so it's good to get you over here, and maybe we'll catch up later in fight week, but I appreciate you. Thank you.
All right.
Canelo Alvarez's business manager, known for handling one of boxing's richest careers, made bold claims before the Crawford fight. He said Canelo's body is built to take damage and avoid injuries, giving him an edge over others. The manager claimed that Canelo's tough build and physical strength help him stand out from other boxers. These features make him more prepared for hard fights and might play a major role in how the battle with Crawford unfolds in the ring.
I hope that Crawford didn't get any ideas from Skull. I don't think he did. I think Crawford is a hell of a fighter, and it's going to be a hell of a fight.
How does weight play a part in that fight?
Oh, what?
How does weight play a part in that fight, do you feel?
White?
Weight. The size difference.
Oh, no, I don't think that, that doesn't, like you saw today, the guy was like, I don't know how much taller. It didn't really play into it either. But Crawford is a hell of a fighter. And you saw today when they did the face-off in the ring, they're virtually height-wise, they are virtually the same. Crawford might even be a little bit taller. But when you look at Canelo, the way he's built, his legs, his shoulders, his neck, that is why he's never been hurt. And he's never been hurt fighting fighters at a substantially higher weight, substantially bigger than him, and they still couldn't hurt him.
Yeah.
And then you look at Crawford, who is a smaller guy, is moving up 2 weight classes, tried at 154, barely won, couldn't hurt Madrimov, and now he's going to go against the guy with the best chin in the sport. That's why probably odds maker have Canelo as a favorite. But having said all of that, Crawford is just a hell of a fighter. I was there when he fought, I was ringside when he fought Spence.
The manager also said that Canelo's body, muscle shape, and defense keep him safe even when hit hard. His toughness may give him an edge against Crawford, who is smaller and not as strong. He also looked at Crawford's past fights to say that maybe Crawford doesn't have enough power to deal with Canelo's strength and ability to absorb punches. That could be a key factor in the fight if Canelo wears him down. His strong frame and durability might be too much in the later rounds.
The way he just totally neutralized Spence's strengths was absolutely... It was breathtaking to watch this. So Crawford is a very skilled fighter, very smart fighter. But again, he's never fought anybody like Canelo. You look at Canelo's resume. Canelo fought, now it's 21 former or current world champions. There's only 2 fighters in the history of boxing who have more than that. One of them is Floyd Mayweather with 24, and the other one is Manny Pacquiao with 23. And he's the only active fighter who fought so many world champions. So I think experience will play a big factor as well. You look at Canelo's resume, but it is, I think, the biggest fight that can be made. I think it's the biggest fight the sport has seen going back to as long as I can remember. I think it's just simple. And I've done some big fights with Floyd Mayweather, and I did Floyd Mayweather and Canelo. I promoted that, so I think this one is bigger than that.
Experts all agree Terence Crawford is a top fighter with serious skill and smarts, but this fight brings new issues. Moving up in weight to face Canelo is a major step, since Canelo is one of the greatest fighters ever. Many analysts think Crawford won't change much and will use his usual fight plan. Changing too much this late in his career could go badly. Crawford's known for his clean counters and smart pressure, and he'll likely use those again. Still, going up in size against someone like Canelo is tough. The mix of weight jump and Canelo's talent means Crawford must stick to what works while staying careful and not forcing risky moves.
How is Terence Crawford going to beat Canelo Alvarez? We need to talk about it. When we look at the guys who've had success with Canelo, we'll look at Bivol, we'll look at Golovkin, we'll look at Floyd, and we'll look at Lara. Yes, I'll throw Lara in there, why not? I think all these fights are absolutely irrelevant coming into this bout. Some of them are just dated, or some of these guys' style just cannot apply. For example, a guy in Lara. If Crawford wanted to fight how Lara fought Canelo, he would probably gas out in 7 rounds, or if he made it 12, he just wouldn't get that decision. It's that simple. Let's take a guy in Golovkin. Crawford just simply does not have the punching power, nor do I think he has the gas tank at 68. He's not a good enough puncher to try to fight Canelo like Golovkin. He doesn't have the physical traits, even in the chin department. Then you have Floyd Mayweather. Well, both can have a bit of similarities. The speed, reflexes, technical prowess, IQ, timing, counterpunching, Lateral movement is just too much from Floyd. I don't think Bud could take much from Floyd's game plan to implement it into his own success in September. And then you have Dimitri. The speed, the technical prowess, the IQ, the length is too much. So essentially, Terence Crawford is going to have to beat Canelo in a way that nobody has ever beaten him or gave him any issues in. I'm going to tell you exactly how Crawford's going to fight. He's going to fight like his damn self. It's too late in his career to change up the game plan. It's too late in his career for him to want to change up the game plan, come into a fight of this magnitude with a style he's never fought before. That will be a recipe for disaster. He's going to be more than likely off the back foot. He's going to be looking for counter shots. And I think there will be a point in this fight where he's simply just trying to survive. I like Crawford. He's an amazing pound for pound fighter. A different animal at 168. This is one of the greatest of all time. I see win scenarios for him, but I don't see him being realistic. I can see him fighting off the back foot, using his speed, timing, and feet to stay away from Canelo. But that's very, very, very unlikely, damn near impossible.
Young fighter and analyst Nico Ali Walsh shared thoughts on the fight, calling it very close. He mentioned Crawford's recent sparring with big guys helped him learn to handle size, which could help versus Canelo. This gives a fresh view, showing Crawford trained to deal with stronger opponents. Walsh said that makes this an even matchup where both men have a fair chance. His view shows how close the fight really is, since both fighters have different tools and skills. This battle brings mystery and excitement, as it's hard to say who will win. Both fighters are strong in their own ways, and it's set up to be a must-watch event.
Of Canelo's team. Canelo's one of my favorite fighters. He's been my favorite fighter for the longest time. But, you know, I have to be Team Bud because me and Bud are cool, and I have so much belief in Bud, and I know who he is as a fighter. He is one of the greats. So he could do anything you know he wants.
And being around both of them and seeing how they work and train and things like that, what makes both of them the fighters they are, in your opinion?
I've watched Bud, so what for Bud in particular, he's calm in everything he does, and that kind of calm is scary to watch because it shows experience. You can see that he's been doing this for decades. You can see it with his shadow boxing.
Legendary trainer Teddy Atlas gave a fair breakdown of the Canelo and Crawford clash. He noted Canelo's big size, strength, and power, saying those are big keys in any match. But he also praised Crawford's fast hands, smart mind, and strong will. Atlas said this is a real style clash, power versus brains, where both men have tools to win. He pointed out that it's all about who sticks to the game plan better when the bell rings. That will be the deciding factor. Atlas thinks both sides have real chances to win, and it's a true 50-50 fight. It's all about how well each fighter uses what they do best.
Well, come on, he's human. So he had a few hiccups. He won the fight. He's Terence Crawford. A lot of people say, "Oh, Teddy, you make him so good. You're always saying how great Crawford is." You know, but who's he beating? He unified the what was his first division? Lightweight. Then he unified the junior. Then he unified the junior welter. Then he unified the welter. I think I got the weight classes right. It doesn't matter. He unified like 3 different weight classes. He moved up in weight. Guys are tired of me saying it. I look at him. Look, Canelo's special too. I get it, and he's bigger. I get that too. And everyone's going to say, "Well, after Madrimov fight again, had a couple hiccups. Now he's stepping up another weight class. Now he's got to fight Canelo, who's even bigger, stronger, better puncher. You know, a unified champion that he's been. You know, all of that stuff. He's not going to be able to handle it." I asked this question. See, I go to the other side. I say, okay, yeah, can Canelo handle the smaller guy who's going to be faster, who's going to be slicker, who's going to be better defensively, who's going to have better legs, you know, who's going to be able, sometimes Canelo at this point in his career can slow down a little bit. They're both getting older. I get it.